Gross. Luray works in Pennsylvania and New Jersey as a storyteller, reader, and poetry consultant. Luray Gross received her BA in English from Gettysburg College and her MA in English from Trenton State College. She served as a writer in residence for the Pennsylvania and New Jersey State Councils on the Arts, as a visiting poet for the Geraldine R. Dodge Foundation and the Pennsylvania Writing Project, and as a poetry consultant for the New Jersey Writers Project. She's been a high school English teacher and an adjunct instructor of English at the College of New Jersey. She has published 2 poetry chapbooks, Forenoon, appearing in 1990, and Elegant Reprieve in 1995. Her book, The Perfection of Zeros, appeared in 2004. In 2000, she was named a Distinguished Teaching Artist by the New Jersey State Council on the Arts and received the Robert Fraser Poetry Competition Award from Bucks County Community College. Luray Gross was named Poet Laureate of Bucks County in 2002. Luray Gross.
Hello, everybody. With apologies, I'm going to read a poem that Darlene doesn't have, that is not one of mine, and I will make it available for anyone who wants to see it afterward. But it's in honor of where we are and a reflection of our dinner time conversation in which someone raised the issue. What were the books that were vital to you or important to you when you were in junior high? This is a poem by Naomi Shihab Nye from her collection Fuel called Because of Libraries, We Can Say These Things. She is holding the book close to her body, carrying it home on the cracked sidewalk, down the tangled hill. If a dog runs at her again, she will use the book as a shield. She looked hard among the long lines of books to find this one. When they start talking about money, when the day contains such long and hot places, she will go inside. An orange bed is waiting. Story without corners. She will have 2 families. They will eat at different hours. She is carrying a book past the fire station and the 5 and dime. What this town has not given her, the book will provide. A sheep, a wilderness of new solutions. The book has already lived through its troubles. The book has a calm cover, a straight spine. When the step returns to itself as the best place for sitting, and the old men up and down the street are latching their clippers, she will not be alone. She will have a book to open and open and open. Her life starts here. Thank you, Naomi. Of my own poems, the first one is called Language Development, and I think it's the only one that requires a brief explanation. During my first 5 years of public education, 1st through 5th grade, I was in a township which was still using its little one-room schoolhouses, not for 8 classes, but like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And when I got to 6th grade, we went into the new elementary school. Language development. F-U-C-K. Herman Phineas had scrawled on the dilapidated outhouse at the edge of the yard at the old school. No one went inside anymore. If Herman, who'd flunked at least twice, had written it, it had to be bad. Nicky said shit to the teacher, but he had moved from Philadelphia, a place most of us in that brand new elementary school had rarely been. And if some of our parents took issue with Mrs. Weinberger, most of us had no idea that it might have been because she was Jewish. I knew only she was so much taller than me and read to us each day after lunch with a voice so beautiful that I was ready to forgive how she let Nicky get away with scratching asshole on the lid of his desk. But when he found a length of clothesline and put it around my cousin Nancy's neck, I wished I was in Mr. Dutterer's class. Maybe Nicky would have been afraid of his bright face. Maybe then Nicky would have grown string beans for the science fair or used his colored pencils neatly to illustrate book reports. At first, only one of us was for Kennedy. Then Linda Jardine switched to Democrat like Lida, who invited all the girls in class to her birthday party, where we gawked at the rows of shoes in her closet with the sliding doors. 50 pairs, I thought, for years, though maybe there were only 8 or 10. Probably Linda didn't tell her mother how she voted in the class election. Jerk off, my friends and I jeered at each other, meaning only, how could you be so dumb? I thought words were playthings, like shiny fake coins from the souvenir stand. We were so careless, tossing them out, giving them away, not even noticing their weight. The inscrutable designs minted on one side, or the stranger's face filled with regret, glaring at us from the other. Before Gabriel arrives, she sits on the stoop, the onliest a lonely girl, 14, grown child growing nearly woman, a delta, a river splitting, spilling, seeping, sought. She presses her thighs to grainy concrete, root, tree, flower, bud, born to be proud and ashamed. She knows nothing. Questions fill her mouth. She holds her hand to the sun to test its opaqueness. She wants not how to get or even how to give. She wants to know what it is that she wants, not how to get or even how to give. Her feet in their canvas sneakers dream of dark caverns, but her elbows long to unbend in the emptiness between herself and the stars. She hears her name and does not answer. What is her name? Only a word like string, a word like metal unmolded, a slump of sound. Look at the way her freckles insist her skin is what counts, her skin and its tan smoothness. Summer is ending. Soon will be supper and brothers and spoons, spoons and plates. There will be bread, there will be butter. No one at the table will see her. No one will ever, ever know. The perfection of zero, for which being here and poster and all of you, I have much to be grateful. Thank you so much. The perfection of zero. The widow removes her wedding band, easing its edge over thin knuckles, holds it in her left palm. With right index finger traces its circumference. What beyond this path has no end? Absence. The way she already cannot remember his voice. The perfection of zero is what it cannot hold. Their vows slip through toward a depth she can't divine. Division by zero is impossible, a way to keep things whole. Tell me a secret, she says, holding the ring at arm's length, framing the dumb face of the kitchen clock. Its quick red hand jerks from dot to dot. Multiply her loss by zero. An empty yellow raft bobs lazily on the open sea. This poem is called The Dead of Shiloh Call Out, and as we were driving into town, I think there was a Shiloh Street or something I passed. This is a reference to the Civil War battle. The dead of Shiloh call out to the dead of Baghdad, to the hungry children of Iraq, to the half-blind dog who barks at grains of salt jangling in the spoon. Oil burners flame and fume across the nation. Our president polishes his middle initial and narrows his gaze. A long time shrinks and shrinks. A short time grows. Threat and alert become the same word. In a department store, a young woman and her full-term belly fall to the floor. Death pins her beside the merchandise. Just before his enlightenment, the seated Buddha touched finger to ground, calling earth to witness the deeds of his life, calling forth water to chase away evil. In the world beyond this world, the woman strides into the future. Her loins are a fish trying to swim in the opposite direction. Her ribs are a grate for wind to blow through, for the river to enter. Her breasts are bread, her collarbones a crosspiece. Her eyes scan the urgent sea. She asks each god just one question. Forward, forward is the only answer. Two more. Song of ignorance, song of bliss. I love numbers for their profiles and their tendency to dance. The way round-bellied 5 leans into slope-shouldered 6. I love the engines of equations, the plus and times and greater lesser than. Carve them on my gravestone and let the wind puzzle them out. I read the dictionary with my blind thumb, thump, thumpity thump, diagonally down the page. Each morning I skim the papers. Even the headlines I forget by dusk. How did that one laugh? How small were his reaching hands? The boxcars carried their hungry freight, chugging along the terrible tracks to Treblinka, Auschwitz. Most who saw, most who heard are dead, but are they as dead as those who crowded cold in the dark? A kingfisher rattles back and forth. All winter long, he patrolled the muddy creek, believing, it seemed, in singing, like a 10-year-old unaware of his monotone. There's always a song before the end of the world, a little song of ignorance, a song of bliss, like the songs I try to cultivate, melodies rich in rests for all of us sated with talk. We sing a little song for the living, for the dead, a song for the wrists of the dead hostage, for the row of corpses, a song for the bullet, innocent as any stone. One more and then it's on to the food. I assume. A kind of luck. The unlucky have their own kind of luck. They show me what it is to be happy, sitting here in early March sun. The dogs inside bark once, twice, desultory remarks at my desertion. I am writing as though nothing could be easier. Easy to be a Buddhist spark today, drinking cool water near the holly tree, listening to the exclamatory grackles. Our gray cat brushes past my arm, then repairs to the driveway to roll in wood chips and dust. Tree after tree, we've turned into smoke and ash. I am waiting for fusion, waiting for us to unleash force through joining rather than breaking apart. The cat rolls, builds up static. Her electric meow scolds my hands for ignoring her. Her green eyes are the eyes of a saint. For hundreds of years, the monk who illuminated them has slept in Irish peat and sand. He scorned the saint. He loved her. Her bodice he painted kermes red, her skirt lapis blue. He gave her a girdle of gold for her waist, another to hover just above her startled head. At night, the monk lay down and felt her quick pulse throbbing in his neck, his groin. He touched her body, and it crumbled. Now he rests, and nearly everyone has forgotten him. The chill scriptorium, the slight heft of the brushes in his hand. Often he paused, mid-stroke, listening for her heartbeat. I am listening too, as spring wind glances off the little shields of the holly. The cat has abandoned me, and the dogs have forgotten I exist. When I open the kitchen door, I will be born again to their happiness, assigned to carry its light burden of joy. Thank you.